Hello BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my weekly reviews for December the 8th through the 14th. So as predicted, I did finish more books than I finished last week. Last week I had 3 books, and this week I have 6, so we have doubled our output this week. I knew that was going to be the case, like I said, considering the fact that I finished 3 books on Sunday. So yeah. And it's so weird because I'm looking at these books now that I finished and I'm like, what do I remember about them? It feels like I finished them forever ago, and it was a week ago today. So anyway, let's jump into my reviews for these books. The first book that I finished was The Rebel Bride by Shannon McNear. This is a historical romance novel. It is book number 10 in the Daughters of the Mayflower series. Published in 2019, this is a new release. Average Goodreads rating of 4.53 stars. I gave it 3.5 stars. For my challenges, this was for my RRRC. For December of 2019, it was for challenge number 9, which was New Year's Eve, which was to read a book in a series. Either start a new series, catch up on a series, what have you. Like I said, this is the 10th book in the series. I am not caught up. I am missing, like, the first bunch of them, but I've read, I think, 1 or 2. I like book 6 and book 8 or something like that. So the premise of this series, and I really, really love the premise. Literally each book takes place at a different time period in American history. And it tells you, you know, like it's a story about a couple during that time period. This one, as per the title, is the Civil War, which is a historical time period that fascinates me greatly. Now, my one issue with this series is that it is a faith-based series, so it is Christian. It's Christian romance. My issue with it is that Christian romance can be done well, and then it can be done not as good. And this series, as much as I love the idea and I love the premise of it, I feel just isn't, it's very preachy. Very, very preachy. You get a lot of passages of Bible verse and things like that. And I really think that for someone who is not of that belief system, they could really enjoy this series, but would be very turned off by that aspect of it. Now, I understand it's geared towards a very specific audience. And, you know, I'm not saying anything, you know, about the publisher and maybe they need to change it. But just do keep that in mind if that is not your cup of tea, that unfortunately this might not be for you. And that's the reason why it didn't get 4 stars. It only got 3.5 is because I just did find it very preachy. This one did come from NetGalley, so thank you to NetGalley and the publisher for sending me a copy of this to review. So this is the story of Pearl and Joshua. And Pearl is she lives in the South, so she is a Confederate. And I think all 3 of her brothers fought in the Confederate Army, and all 3 of them were killed. She is living at home with her youngest brother, and so her brother's younger than her, and her father, who it sounds like he's had a stroke of some kind, or maybe even several strokes, because he needs a lot of help. So at the beginning of the story, Pearl's cousin comes to her and says, hey, we need some help. Like, he's working in the army infirmary, and they need places to put some of these soldiers who are recovering, or who might not even survive, you know, like, but the thing is that these are not Confederate soldiers, these are Union soldiers, so they are from the North. So she kind of begrudgingly agrees to do it, and these soldiers come in, and she befriends one by the name of Joshua, who lost his hand in battle. And it's a very sweet story. I really like that it was a historical that took place during the Civil War, that did not deal with a plantation, that did not deal with what you're used to typically seeing for this time period for romance, or just for historical fiction in general, that it dealt with something outside of being a plantation owner and owning slaves or not owning slaves, or actually being in the midst of battle. You know, it was about kind of the everyday people who had farms and who worked those farms and, you know, still were sticking to their own beliefs and staying with either the North or the South or what have you. And I did enjoy it a great deal. It could have done with a few less Bible passages, but still kept the faith-based aspect of the book, but you didn't need all those pages of Bible verse, in my opinion. The next book that I finished was How the Finch Stole Christmas by by Donna Andrews. Our main character's name is Meg Langslow. This is a cozy mystery series. Oh my gosh. I'm all kinds of messed up right now, guys. The narrator on this, because I did listen to this on audio, was Bernadette Doone. The series is Meg Langslow, and this is book number 22. This was published in 2017. Average star rating on Goodreads is 4.02 stars. I gave this one 4 stars. Again, for my Triple RC challenge, this was for challenge number 1, which was D was for December, which was to read a book that either the author's first or last name starts with the letter D, or the title of the book starts with the letter D, and Donna starts with a D. I originally had a different book in here. My TBR has changed. I mentioned this in my last vlog, that for financial reasons I've had to get rid of, like, Audible, and I cannot buy books right now. I'm kind of on a book buying thing because of finances. So some of the things that I had planned on had to get moved around, and that's fine because I still made everything work. So yay for me. But anyway, this one, as I said, was a cozy mystery, and it is 22 in the series. You do not have to have read the series in order, in my opinion. So this is about a small town, and they are putting on Meg, our main character, is married to a man named Michael, and they have a set of twin sons, and the husband, Michael, works in the college theater, and they are putting on the play, I almost said How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but that's not it. A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. That's my one thing, and this is nitpicky, you guys. This is absolutely nitpicky. But all of the titles of this series are bird related, and I love it. I think that's fantastic. But they are putting on A Christmas Carol, but yet the title of the book is How the Finch Stole Christmas. I think it would have been more fun if they were putting on How the Grinch Stole Christmas, right? To tie the two of them together. Anyway, again, I'm being nitpicky, and it might not have worked. Actually, I don't see why it wouldn't have worked, because the main plot of this story is there's an actor who is, back in his day, used to be very famous, but now he's a bit of a has-been, and he has a drinking problem. That was another thing that I found some issue with in this book, but I'll get into that in a second. And he's playing Scrooge, and he's very mean, and he's old, and he's kind of crotchety, and, you know, like, just general, he's a very Scrooge-like character in a way. That totally would have worked for the Grinch, you know? I mean, yes, he would have been in makeup, but I still think it would have worked. But anyway, I am not the author. I'm just offering my 2 cents that might have just made it that much better. But my issue with this one, so during the course of the book, there's these animals that are like, these finches that are being stolen, these special kinds of finches, these birds. And then during the course of the novel, Meg finds a puppy mill, essentially, and a place that this guy is selling exotic wild animals, like, that he shouldn't be in possession of, and then is, like, selling them, like, illegally, like an illegal animal smuggling ring, kind of an idea. Very, very heavy-handed topic for a cozy mystery book. The other thing that I found issue with on this one, now, it still did get 4 stars, so I did really enjoy it. But if this had been dealt with better, I think I could have even gone up to the 4.5 star range, is that, like I said, this older actor, had a drinking problem, and it just seemed to be taken very lightly in a way. They were hiding his alcohol. They were telling all the bars in town not to serve to him. You know, they had some guy follow him around just to make sure he stayed sober. That's not correcting the problem. That is band-aiding the problem just so you can get through your play. You know, if it were me, it would be like, you know what, sorry, you know, we think you're a great actor, but you keep coming to the set completely drunk. So you can do 1 or 2 things. You can either get into a program and try and, you know, quit your drinking problem, like get into like an AA program or something like that, or we're gonna have to let you go and, you know, somebody else. But it was just like, oh, if we just take this stuff away from him, he'll be fine. That's not how alcoholics work. You know, I'm sure we are all familiar with somebody. Most people have somebody in their family who has unfortunately had to deal with this disease, and you know, that's not how you deal with it. And it kind of made me upset throughout the course of the story, because they were just treating it as if, oh, you know what, let's just get through the play, and then he can do whatever the heck he wants when we're done. No, that's not being a good human. That's not being a good person, in my opinion. You know, you're kind of only thinking about yourself. But anyway, still, I did enjoy it. You know, if you can kind of get past that part. This is a really fun series. If you are looking to delve into another different cozy mystery series, I highly recommend this one. Like I said, this is book 22. I think this year at Christmas time they came out with book 26, maybe, or even 27. I can't remember. It's been around for a while. So, you know, and I know my library had them on audio from Overdrive. So you can definitely check that out, see if your library does as well. And the narration on these was really fantastic, and I really did enjoy it. The next one that I finished, this book was so adorable, you guys, was The Christmas Wish by Melinda Curtis. This is a contemporary romance novel. It is book number 0.5, so it's the prequel novel in the Sunshine, Colorado series. This was originally published in 2019. Many thanks to to NetGalley and the publisher for sending me a copy of this book to review for you guys. Goodreads average star rating was 4.20 stars. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this one, you guys. I thought it was adorable. It is a novella. It's only 92 pages long. It would be a very quick little book for you guys to get through. It came out actually at the very tail end of November, so it's already been published, so definitely go check it out. And you can get like the start on a new series. This is the perfect little contemporary romance. It is a sweet romance, so there's no adult content in it. The most you're going to get is some hand-holding and kissing. And it is about, our two main characters are Rosalind and Everett. And he is new to town. He has the job now of like town treasurer. And he is trying to cut the budget, and he's trying to do all these things. And excuse me, sorry. And he meets Rosalind. Now, he is also known as the town Scrooge. So she is, of course, she loves Christmas, but she has her own past that she's dealing with, and the two of them, you know, start a relationship. Again, it's 92 pages. There's not much I can tell you guys, although I do love this little small town, and I am so looking forward to the next book in the series. I did already see on Goodreads it's coming out in April, so I'm eagerly anticipating it. I'm going to be checking Goodreads or NetGalley to keep seeing if maybe it's going to be available, because I'd love to grab a copy of it to review for you guys. Delightful. Absolutely delightful, and I highly recommend it. Next up, this one was so good too, you guys. New Orleans Noir by Joanna Wayne. This is a romantic suspense novel. It is Harlequin Intrigue number 1874. This was originally published as well in 2019. All the review books and all the current releases, you guys. Goodreads average rating of 4.08 stars. I gave this one 4 stars for my challenges. This was one of the books in, of course, my 40 Years of Harlequin project that you guys have been, these last few that I've been reading. This is one of them that you guys picked for me earlier this year when I did my Harlequin anticipated reads. Thank you again for picking this one. It is not part of a series. It is a standalone novel. If you're interested in checking out Joanna Wayne and seeing what she's like as an author, she is fabulous. Definitely check this one out. It is essentially about a woman who has come back to New Orleans. She was raised there, and her grandmother passed away, and the grandmother left her home in the French Quarter. When she comes back, there is a serial killer on the loose in New Orleans, the French Kiss Killer, as he's called. And a man by the name of Hunter, who is a police officer with the New Orleans Police Department, is on the hunt for the serial killer. But of course, him and our main character, Helena, know each other because he left her at the altar 6 years earlier. And the story goes from there. So it's a rekindling of their romance as a second chance romance, along with hunting a serial killer. Fantastic. Really good. Although I have to admit that it was pretty blatant to me who the killer was. And I'm like, yeah, it's that dude. Pretty sure it's that dude. But you do get perspective from the killer, and it's creepy, guys. It was seriously creepy. Even though I figured it out, and I was right, pat on my own back, thank you very much, it still did not diminish the enjoyment of the story at all. Really good, fabulous writing. Definitely check this one out if you're looking, like I said, to check out Joanna Wayne. And these last 2 books I have to share with you. I have to start out by thanking Harlequin for sending me both these books, copies of both of these books to review for you guys. I am part of the Harlequin Holiday Blog Tour, and I reviewed 2 of the books that I got from them last Sunday, and now I'm going to review these 2 for you. So I do hope that you pick these up and check them out, because they were both really enjoyable, and I like them. So the first one was Cowboy Christmas Redemption by Maisey Yates. This is, of course, a contemporary romance novel. It is book number 8 in the Gold Valley series. This was published, of course, originally in 2019. It just came out about a month or so ago. Average rating on Goodreads of 4.16 stars. I gave this one 4 stars. For my challenges, I was able to use this for a challenge, you guys. This was for my triple RC as well for December for number 7, which was Look for an Evergreen Day. And you had to read a book that had a tree on the cover. So, of course, can I just say, this cover, out of all of the books I have read this holiday season, this hands down has to be my favorite cover. I want a print of this to like actually hang up on my wall, like, or put on my bookcase or something like that, to have like if I had a reading room, which eventually we are going to get there. And I'd love to have that as like a print of that cover because I think it's stunning. But anyway, so this is the story of Ellie and Caleb. Thank you, Lynn, again for telling me how to pronounce his name. I'm horrible with names, you guys. So they are adorable, and they have both of them well, especially Ellie has a very difficult backstory. So I think it's 4 years earlier her husband Clint was killed. He worked as a firefighter, and he died while working. At the time of his death, she was pregnant with their daughter. So she has a little 4-year-old little girl that her husband never even got to meet, which is just heartbreaking. Now, Caleb has actually been in love with Ellie since he first met her. And when he first met her was the day that Clint introduced them as his girlfriend. The two of them had just started dating, and Clint, who was a good friend of Caleb's, brought his girlfriend to this like family barbecue. And Caleb saw her and is like, oh my gosh, I gotta go over and say hello. Isn't she gorgeous? Blah, blah, blah. And then up comes Clint and is like, hey, meet my girlfriend. So over the last 14 years, he has kind of harbored this love for her. And now that since Clint passed away 4 years earlier, Caleb has kind of stepped into her life to help her as much as he possibly can. And now the romance is going to, start, because Ellie is ready to make some changes. She's kind of done with being, with being sad, with wanting to give her daughter a great Christmas, and she wants to kind of move on her own. And, so her and Caleb kind of start a romance. It was delightful. I really did enjoy it. The one caveat I do have to say about this book, though, is I really think that this is a book that you need to have read the previous books in the series. I've jumped around in this series quite a bit, so I was okay. I didn't find myself completely lost, but I wouldn't make this one the first one that you pick up, because you are going to meet a lot of characters that you meet in previous books. So it's not a hardship. Go back and read the first 7 books in the the Gold Valley series, and then go ahead and pick this one up. Or if it's just the first 20% of the book that you might feel a little bit confused by all these characters that you're meeting. So if you can get through that, go ahead and pick this one up if you're looking for that great redemption type story, and enjoy it. But just do keep that in mind, that I really feel that this is one that you would benefit from reading the rest of the series. And there are a lot of other Christmas books in this series, you guys, so you're not going to be missing out on a Christmas book. And you can always save this one for next Christmas. The last one that I want to share with you guys is Christmas in Silver Springs by Brenda Novak. I do adore Brenda Novak. Of course, another contemporary romance. I said Harlequin did send me an e-copy of this to review for you guys, but I actually went ahead and grabbed a copy on audio so I could listen to it. And it was narrated by Veronica Worthington, who did a fantastic job. This is book number 6 in the Silver Springs series. Originally published, of course, in 2019. It came out a couple months ago, or a month or so ago. Average rating on Goodreads of 4.35 stars. I gave this one 3.5 stars. For my challenges, again, I use this one for a challenge. This was for Triple RC number 6, which was National Maple Syrup Day, which was to read a story that was sweet. And this one did fit the bill of a sweet story. Brenda Novak is one of those great authors who can not only write great contemporary romance, but can also write great romantic suspense. So, if romantic suspense is more your angle, definitely check out some of her romantic suspense novels. But this one, of course, is a contemporary romance. Book 6, as I said, in the Silver Springs series, you do not have to have read the previous books. I've only read the first book in this series, so I haven't read books 2 through 5, and I was okay picking this one up, no problem at all. So our main characters in this one are Harper and Tobias. And Harper is very recently divorced. I think it's she's divorced, but the divorce wasn't official until even partway through this book. And she's come to Silver Springs with her 2 daughters to kind of spend Christmas with her sister. and not be in the limelight, because her ex-husband is a very, very famous rock musician. So on one of her first days when she's out and about without her girls, her sister's kind of looking after her daughters, she meets Tobias. And a romance kind of blossoms between the two of them. Now, Tobias has quite the backstory. He actually spent 13 years in prison for shooting an 11-year-old boy. He was 17 at the time, and now at the time that 11-year-old boy is now grown up. His name is Atticus, and he is very good friends actually now with Tobias that he's out of prison. So he's kind of got this secret, and he doesn't really want to tell Harper that he is an ex-con, essentially, because it's going to totally change the way that she looks at him. So there's this kind of secrets being kept throughout the entire story, which I didn't absolutely love, to be honest. You know, to really, I get that it's going to build tension and that it's going to, you know, have that whole big blow up towards the end that you usually see in contemporary romance novels. And I just had a few issues with that. And of course, as they're having a relationship, Axel, who is Harper's ex-husband, gets wind of the fact that she has moved on, or she is moving on, and he doesn't like that one bit. So he starts contacting her again, and he starts, you know, wanting to make it right again, and let's be a family again, and let's get back together again. But if he's not willing to change anything, but she does think about it, and that kind of bothered me a little bit too, you know, like, you wanted to say to her, no, don't, he's not going to change. Leopards don't change their spots, but it was still a really great Christmas story. I really did enjoy it. A great story of second chances all around, you know, for Harper and for Tobias, along with other people that were affected by the shooting. You know, like Atticus's mother, who has been holding this grudge for 13 years and hating Tobias for what he did to her son. But, you know, again, redemption, it's that time of year for it with Christmas. Enjoyable. I did like it. If you get a chance to, check it out on audio. Like I said, the narration on this one was great. And as I also said, if you have not read the rest of the Silver Spring series, it's perfectly fine. Jump into this one. But of course, it is Brenda Novak, so I absolutely recommend that you go ahead and jump into the rest of the series as well. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it, excuse me. Please let me know in the description box or in the comment section below. Have you read any of these books, and what did you think about them? Or, you know, what did you read this week that you really, really enjoyed? Are you reading any great Christmas books as well? Because I'd love to know that too. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.